Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I am your host, Sergeant John Perrine, Public Information Officer for the Indianapolis District. The Roadshow is brought to you by Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. For more information about the State Police Alliance, you can visit www.indianasfinest.com. As always, the incredible efforts of Mr. Tom Trial puts this on YouTube so that not only can you hear us, you can see us. And he puts a lot of work into that, and we're so thankful, but can't ever get him to come in front of the camera. He prefers to stay behind. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. We've got a great show for you. We're going to introduce you to two new public information officers for the Indiana State Police. We have Sergeant Matt Ames from the Putnamville District and Sergeant Kerry Hulls from the Sellersburg District. Welcome, guys.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, John.
So both of you took over positions for PIOs who retired.
Sergeant Jerry Gooden in Sellersburg.
Gooden, Sheriff of Scott
County
now. And
former PIO was Sergeant Joe Watts.
Yeah, Joe Watts has now took a job with the federal prison or the federal court, right?
The federal courthouse. He's working there as a security officer.
Opportunities present, as you guys know, though PIO jobs don't really come around very often because it is such a great job. But you have to have the right heart. You got to want it for the right reasons, and you guys do. I've been following your work for a few weeks now, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. So, Matt, let's start with you. Let's kind of go back, rewind to when. How long have you been on the department?
I've been on the department now for 23 years. 23
years. So take us back 23 years ago. Matt Ames, as a rookie trooper, goes to what district? Terre Haute?
No, I started out at the Lafayette district.
Lafayette, but you're from Terre Haute, right?
Yes, I'm originally from Terre Haute area.
So you got to go back home to Terre Haute. At what point in your career did you ever believe that you would be a PIO officer?
About 3 years ago, I started having conversations with Joe, and he said that he was looking at start to retiring. At that time, I was like, okay, started doing more public information, getting out doing public appearances, going to schools, getting in and doing programs like that. And then once he said that he was absolutely retiring, then I took the opportunity to introduce myself to all the local news media in the Terre Haute area and started getting on TV and talking to the newspapers, and it just kind of kept evolving, and got some good experience, and then did well on the test and all the interview process throughout the promotion process for the department, and fortunate enough to get the promotion.
Yeah, so this is one of those jobs where you don't always see yourself going. You know, I always enjoyed doing the school programs and things, but I never saw myself as a public information officer. I had 13 years on the road before I got promoted. But again, once you get in here, you realize it's a pretty good gig. So tell me, Kerry, what has surprised you the most? Because before I became the PIO officer for the district, it didn't seem like the PIOs really did that much. You'd see them show up to the scene, they'd go over, they'd talk to the media for 10 or 15 minutes, they'd get in their car, and they'd be gone. And boy, was I wrong. What's your experience
That's
so
probably
far?
I haven't been in the seat for very long, but how busy you can be, and how how much information that people are is a constant thing. It's every few minutes you might get a text or a call, lots of emails, and you're busy. I didn't realize how much in the limelight Sergeant Gooden was at the time, and how much people relied on him to get information out. So it's a wake up call to see how many people text or call and say, hey, we got some questions for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing is not everything that I do revolves around being on TV, the radio, or release or whatever. And same for you guys. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that people don't quite realize. One thing is people want statistics often. Sometimes finding those statistics isn't always easy. They want to know, pretty specific things, and they've got deadlines, and so that's a lot of work.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about the social media side of it, because that's something that we're kind of in a transition of, and people are starting to embrace this idea that we have a presence on social media. But what is your experience? Do you guys have previous social media experience, or are you guys just kind of drinking from a fire hose here?
Drinking from the fire hose is exactly what I am doing. I have my own personal social media sites that I I do a lot of following, not a lot necessarily a lot of posting. Now you got to make sure that your grammar's correct and you're putting out the good information.
Twitter does
there.
not have an edit button. I can assure you.
There is no edit button on Twitter, and so just have to take the time and make sure that you're putting out good information. I think that social media is a very good thing for us because the people that follow us in our particular area, they're wanting to know what the road conditions are, whether or not the roads are shut down in a particular area. Putnamville District covers the Interstate 70 from the state line all the way over to the 59-mile marker, and I have several people hit me up on my Twitter account. Hey, what are the road conditions? Yesterday we just had a little bit of snowfall, and just have to keep them informed so that way they can take an alternate route and make sure that they're being safe on the roadways.
Yeah, the evolution of the PIO office was changed. We used to be solely reliant on the media to get our message out, whether that be road conditions all the way up to serious cases. But now we're able to go directly to those that follow us through social media and almost eliminate. We still need the media. They're very important to our job. But I think people appreciate also being able to hear straight from us 2 or 3 lines about what's happening. So Kerry, tell us what are you thinking about social media? Are you enjoying it so far?
I definitely enjoy it. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Matt. I had my own personal account, had a small business account even for Twitter, but rarely used it, rarely put anything out there. So it's a learning, it's a big learn. That's why I told everybody at work, is like I'm kind of at the bottom of a very large learning curve right now. So, but it's fun. I love putting the information out there. And again, you're right. I mean, you get a lot of information from other people asking you to put stuff out there, and you're able to put that out instantly when something happens, and they know that they can look to that. So in our area, we didn't have a Twitter and Facebook account that had a bunch of information. So now I'm kind of building that up from the bottom, and it's a lot of fun. So watching those numbers rise and seeing people click on and like a page and build that following. So it's a lot of fun to get creative with it too. But I'm also learning all that. So watching you guys, how you post things and seeing the types of information you put out there. But it's definitely drinking from the fire hose, as you say.
Yeah, and so we're talking about the state police social media, and you can follow the Indiana State Police on Twitter at IND State Police, or you can follow the individual districts in your area, and most of it's at ISP Putnamville for Sergeant Ames and at ISP Sellersburg for Sergeant Halls, and it is fun to watch that following, but it's also important because I think social media allows us to show the human side of our job, that it's not all greats and it's not all bad, that sometimes there's just some in the middle stuff that we need to promote, that we need to talk about. And I think that's what people really enjoy seeing is the day-to-day what we're doing out there and what our guys are doing. They're doing incredible work.
Exactly. You can post a picture of somebody making a traffic stop or helping somebody on the side of the road, and people really like that. And then again, like you said earlier, the traffic conditions, giving instant information. If there's a crash on the roadway, you can put that out and people know to avoid that area. So it's a great tool for getting information out quickly.
Yeah, and it's hard because troopers, all police officers, all enforcement, they don't do these things for the recognition that comes with it. It's very hard to get a guy to send you a picture of himself changing a tire on the side of the road. So you almost need somebody else to sneak up, take the picture, and send it to you.
Right.
Guys don't want to brag on themselves, but it's really important that the public sees that we are out there doing good work every day, and the Indiana State Police is committed to public safety and serving our communities, and that's what we try to do. So Sergeant Hall's way down in Sellersburg, kind of in the Louisville market, probably. What surprised you the most about working with the media that maybe you didn't know before you became a PIO?
Well, actually, probably just how friendly they are, and that they enjoy having a working relationship with us. They're very exciting, excited when you meet them, and congratulatory just to meet all the different faces and names, and they're there to support you too. They're not there as an adversary by any means whatsoever. They enjoy working with us, and we have a great working relationship. So they're there to assist us if needed, and help us learn our part of it too as we go along. So that was the biggest thing, is just how excited they were to see new people come on board and to help out.
Yeah, and they love people who are very active and providing things for them. And we go hand in hand with the media. And, what's neat is you realize they're just people with a job.
Right.
That they also have supervisors and people and they're, the easier that we can make each other's jobs for each other, the better off it is. And people often ask about camera interviews and how you get away from the nervousness. And I still get nervous going on camera, as most people do. But once you get to know those reporters, it becomes less like an interview and more like a conversation. And I think that's why it starts to look more natural, is because you're just having a conversation.
I agree with that. 3 months ago when I started doing interviews on a regular basis, I was just looking at the very first one to 3 months later, it's like I'm a lot more relaxed. Now I do know the reporters now, and was about like what you said, it's like having a conversation with them now, and you're just getting the information out there to the public so that they know what we're out here doing.
Yeah, it's really hard not to use police jargon and talk. You've got to talk like to somebody that might not quite understand the jargon, but it's important to get that message out there. So, what have you enjoyed the most so far in your short time as a PIO?
Just Friday night, I had the opportunity, got contacted by one of the local fire departments to do the Night to Shine for the Tim Tebow Foundation Friday evening at one of our local churches in the Terre Haute area, and just was the escorts for several of the people that were coming in, and to walk them down the aisle and watching people cheer for them, and give them the opportunity it's their prom night, and just have a really good time with them. By far, that's the most rewarding thing I've done so far. And just to put it out on social media and see the positive reactions that we're getting from the community, and seeing that we're out there supporting activities such as that. And then on Saturday, I did the plunge for the Special Olympics as well as kind of the start off at Indiana State University, and that was a very good experience. Now, I didn't do the plunge yet this year.
Get in.
No, I didn't get in.
Oh.
Due to the fact I'm just so new to the position, but they've already asked me to do the plunge with them next year. So
Great.
I guess I'm locked in next year to be jumping in the plunge, which I think the superintendent's supposed to be doing it this
Yeah, we do have one coming up for the superintendent. It'll be later in February.
Later in February.
Yeah.
But it was amazing, just in that short time that they raised $33,000 for the Special Olympics just in that one event. So
just a couple weeks ago, we had Stephanie Manor from the Special Olympics in. What an incredible organization they are, and then the great things they do. So, Sergeant Halls, what do you enjoy so much about the job so far?
Well, pretty much on the same lines there. I've had the opportunity to do anything, that large yet, but the daycare visits and the school visits, I love those a lot, and working with the kids and seeing the smiles on their faces naturally when you come in, especially the younger kids, and getting to work with them and give them a face of the police so that they see that, hey, we're friends, we're here to help you, and that always is a great experience. So we also have a polar plunge coming up in our district here shortly, so hopefully we'll have a part in that also as well, and looking forard to that.
So what you're saying is you're going to get in the water.
We'll think about that.
We'll see it. We'll put a GoPro on your head. No, that you said there, working with the kids is the most rewarding part of this job, I think, and not just for PIOs, but for all police. But no matter what kind of day you're having,
right.
If you walk into a restaurant or a gas station and you see a little kid's eyes light up and they want to shake your hand or give you a high five or ask you a question, it just makes it all worth it. It just brings it all full circle for me personally.
It's amazing when you just give them a sticker, or a badge sticker, and how awesome they think that is.
And you could change their life. Like I was telling a guest earlier today that I remember my first interaction with an Indiana State Trooper, and that kind of shaped that's what I want to be. I want to be that. And so that's why it's so important for me to, anytime a child wants to talk to me, I'll take the time and talk to them. And one of my biggest pet peeves, I'm sure you guys share it, is when a parent says, if you're not good, they're going to take you to jail. I always explain to them, that's not true.
I always make sure I go and talk to that child.
That's not the way it works.
We don't want to be your child's enemy, that's for sure. You want your child to come to us if they need help.
Walking down the aisles of the high schools as well, as you mentioned, I remember, when I was younger and seeing in our area Trooper Buck Backerms, and just, I was mesmerized. It's like, wow, if I could be like him. And to walk down the schools of the high school, the hallways of the high schools, and meet, kids at that same age group, and be able to talk to them and give them a name, and know that, hey, you might have a positive influence, and they may decide that's what I want to do too. Yeah.
So were you guys in the same recruit class? You guys got about the same time.
We're exactly 100 employees apart, I think.
Oh, we are. All right.
I was in the 53rd recruit class.
Okay.
52nd.
52nd. Okay. Very cool. Because I know you both had about the same time on, so that's interesting. So we got about a minute left here, Kerry. Where can people find you? How can somebody in the Sellersburg or Southern Indiana, how do they get a hold of you? Social media, email?
Right. You already mentioned our Twitter account, but to follow there. But on Facebook, it's Kerry Halls at Kerry Halls, Indiana State Police Sellersburg on the Facebook page. They can look us up there and like that. And, of course, they can always call the Sellersburg State Police Post and have a direct line there. You can call the State Police Post and reach us there anytime.
Okay, and I know, Matt, you live out near Terre Haute, but Putnamville District spans quite an area. How do people in that part of the state get a hold of you?
They can contact the post directly. It's 1-800-742-0717, or they can follow me on social media at ISP Putnamville, and that's both for my Facebook account and my Twitter account.
Very good. Well, I would like to, of course, welcome you guys on board. Looking forward to working with you guys. It's a learning job. I'm nowhere close to the top of my game, but I'm not afraid to ask the questions. That's what's so important. So thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Indiana State Police Roadshow. Roadshow out.